Let's simplify the parole evidence rule. The parole evidence rule is very simple. First, common law. Second, UCC. And then we will cover the exceptions. Okay, our basic rule is where the parties intended the contract to be their final expression of their intent, where the contract intended the written contract to be the final expression of the party's intent. Prior or contemporaneous evidence is not admissible to contradict or supplement the writing. What is parole evidence? Parole evidence is prior or contemporaneous evidence to the contract at issue. Parole evidence is inadmissible to contradict or supplement the writing. Okay, let's say that again. Where the contract intended that's right, written contract to be a final, that's right, expression of the party's intent. Parole evidence, which is, that's right, prior or contemporaneous agreements, are inadmissible to do what? Contradict or supplement the writing. But prior consistent terms are admissible to clear up ambiguities. Okay, we have a contract between Bob, the builder, who's going to build a deck, for Sue. They have a final written contract. Sue wants to introduce evidence prior to the contract at issue that says Bob was supposed to perform on August 1st, when in fact the written contract says Bob's supposed to perform on August 8th. Is that admissible? No, it contradicts the writing. Okay, what about supplementing the writing? Bob the builder contracts with Sue to build a deck for $8,000 made up out of only plastic wood. Bob the builder wants to introduce evidence that the parties intended to use plastic and real wood. Is that admissible? No, it supplements the writing. The writing says plastic wood. Supplementing the writing to add real wood? No, that's not admissible. So what's our rule? Where a written contract intended to be the final expression of the party's intent, parole evidence, which means prior or contemporaneous evidence, is inadmissible to contradict or supplement the writing. Okay. Prior consistent terms are admissible to explain. Example, Bob the builder and Sue have a written contract to build a deck using plastic wood. Sue wants a specific brand of plastic wood, or she wants to explain what she means by plastic wood. Okay, this is a consistent term. They both want plastic wood. It's just a question of explaining what that means. It's a consistent term. It's admissible to explain. Part 2. So first, we look to see if there's a prior or contemporaneous agreement that contradicts or supplements. What is that? Parole evidence, and it is what? Inadmissible. 2, we're going to see if that evidence is actually just explaining a consistent term. And if so, it's admissible. Okay, now after the contract at issue, let's see. The contract is signed. Performance is supposed to occur on August 8th for this deck. And there's a note from Bob to Sue, hey, I can't start till August 9th. What is that? It's not parole evidence. It's after the contract at issue. Okay, so let's talk about a partial integration. A partial integration is usually what happens on the bar. So parole evidence, evidence of prior or contemporaneous agreements used to contradict or supplement, is admissible only to clear up ambiguities. If we've got a partial integration, we don't have a final expression of the party's intent. What's that usually indicated with? You got it, a merger clause. If we don't have a full integration, we've got a partial integration. And then evidence of prior or contemporaneous agreements is admissible to contradict or supplement the contract, just to clear up ambiguities. If we've got a partial integration, you can use parole evidence to clear up ambiguities. That is the common law. Let's simplify that even more. Complete integration, additional consistent terms are okay. What's not okay? Evidence of previous contemporaneous terms to contradict or supplement. Complete integration, no parole evidence to contradict or supplement. Okay to explain. Not complete integration, parole evidence, okay to clear up ambiguities. Okay, now let's simplify the UCC. The UCC is more liberal, even if the parties intended their contract to be a complete integration. Parole evidence is admissible. It's admissible to contradict, it's admissible to supplement, and it's admissible to explain. So the UCC is much more liberal. We don't care whether the contract is integrated or not integrated. No matter what, parole evidence is admissible to contradict, supplement, or explain. What else is admissible under the UCC? 1, the party's course of dealing, and 2, usage of trade if the party should have known. Course of dealing first between the parties, and second, usage of trade. What did you mean by the term chicken? Usage of trade. Okay, we only have one exception here, and that is called the collateral contract rule. It applies only to the common law. Isn't it great that we only have one exception and it only applies to the common law? A collateral agreement is an independent agreement. It doesn't have anything to do with the contract at issue. It's something completely outside that four corners written agreement. It's admissible. Collateral independent agreements of the contract are admissible. Okay, one more time. Under the common law, we've got a complete integration. Do we want to introduce additional consistent terms to explain it? Sure, we can do that. We want to introduce prior or contemporaneous agreements to do what? Contradict or supplement. No, can't do it. Scenario 2, we don't have a complete integration. Parole evidence is admissible to clarify ambiguities. What's our collateral contract rule? Independent or collateral agreements are admissible. Okay, under the UCC, we don't care if it's a complete or a non-complete integration. Parole evidence is totally admissible to contradict, supplement, or explain. Moreover, we get the parties' course of dealing, and secondly, we get usage of trade. Remember, under any contract, the express terms will always be given greater weight. Okay, and that's it for parole evidence rule.